I'm Kalpana Singhal, co-founder and chief editor, Tech Plus Media Group. I'm delighted to welcome all of you in this timely fireside chat on exploring the edge, what's really happening out there. Today's businesses are awash in an ocean of data, and huge amounts of data can be routinely collected from sensors and IoT devices operating in real time from remote locations and inhospitable operating environments almost anywhere in the world. But this virtual flood of data is also changing the way businesses handle computing. The traditional computing paradigm, built on a centralized data center and everyday internet, isn't well suited to moving endlessly growing rivers of real-world data. Bandwidth limitations, latency issues, and unpredictable network disruptions can all conspire to impair such efforts. Businesses are responding to these data challenges through the use of edge computing architecture. Edge computing is reshaping IT and business computing. It is deployed today in a wide variety of use cases across every vertical. This fireside chat will discuss its use cases, including the results, the lessons, and the surprises. Please help me welcome Saravanakumar Krishnamurthy, Senior VP Technology Engineering, IT, Network, and Cybersecurity, Yes Bank, to offer his views on how organizations can leverage edge computing and cloud for their benefits, as well as suggest ways for seamless management of edge workloads. A very warm welcome to you, Saravana.
Thank you, Kalpana. Thanks for the introduction, and happy to be part of the discussion.
Yeah, our pleasure. So, Saravana, going straight to the first question, like the hybrid model of working has complicated IT infrastructure management in a big way. What are the challenges IT teams are facing as every employee working remotely becomes an edge?
Exactly. So it's directly hit the bulls on the head. So it's a giant step in the IT industries. So we use pandemic is one of the main completely. So it's not that we don't have a thought process of work from home. It's always there in that in IT industries. So we are doing it for quite some time now. But during this pandemic, it's a giant leap we taken forward where we taken all the workloads, all the employees work from home and connect to the networks and stay as it is and deliver the deliverables as what they are doing at the on-premises in office locations. So we can call it as this is going to be a future model. So already a test and trial run has been done in the last 2 years. So we won't be getting surprised that in future the complete the board meetings level can happen at the remotely locations. So that since the metaverse everything is coming into the picture, so it's not like that I would be physically present every time in the meeting is happens or every time anything a discussion needs to be done technically with my team or anyone. So I can do it wherever I want. So that kind of a on proof level technology solution is already in place. So we are at the right track, I could say, even though the whole pandemic, the whole globe is in shake with all kind of what we are gone through. But still the technology wise, the growth is immense.
How are businesses using edge computing to overcome their data challenges, according to you?
Correct. So when we talk on the remote access and people works from an hybrid model, so we completely dependent on it wasn't really we cannot able to find it in a decade before whether we are able to bring all the employees work from remote because we are not equipped with that kind of a thing. But right now we say almost most of the workloads, everything we as organizations, as a enterprise organization, even in the banking, we are moving into the cloud. So that cloud play a very major role. So since we have the flexible of adapting the cloud solution model and we extended our complete data centers, it's not like that I'll be sitting within my edge network is only my perimeter. So I'm extending my perimeter. That is one of the key factors so that my perimeter is reachable wherever I go. So that is one of the key aspects, and people start adopting the cloud. So cloud is the very much volatile networks where we can use it wherever we want. It's have the core benefits, how we are going to address it. So this is one of the learnings where the edge networks, what we are trying to say is lay the cloud security, because there is a other side. We could say that we are able to build a proper networks and we are able to bring the access of all the users wherever they want to. The other side of the coin, there's a threat level is getting increased. So at the same time, the attackers are on the corners and they are able to come into a network wherever, because we started extending our network overall global wise. It's not that we're restricting within our geographical, so that the chances of the data theft and data exfiltration, this is also at high risk. And we would have seen it, a lot of attacks has been happened in the last couple of years, especially in the last 3 to 4 months. The big organization like Microsoft, Samsung, all got into an attack and attacking. They are coming with the openly. They are committing that we are the one done that attacks, like lapses kind of a guys groups. So they ransom the big organization itself. It's a equal level of a threat and the protection, and as well as the challenge for us. So when I'm talking on the edge networks, so since my complete network is available and is over the geographical, so there is a lot of information is passes through over the internet right now. So since the SaaS kind of a technology where the application is accessible, so my threat level is also at the peak. So I have to be work on the security, so that very ground level we have to build the things in cloud. So first we have done with the ground level security, then we can able to address what are the things we want to be do it at the edge level. So that is one of the things, a work in progress, I could say. It's not that everyone has been done and dusted, because this is the really a work in progress and really a challengeful area. So people start adapting a cloud, now native cloud, now hybrid cloud, now going on a multi-cloud, so that my data is going to be everywhere. So what is the service provider is going to give, the cloud service provider? It's an off-net, on-net concept. So still I have to protect my data. So my data is on edge networks. So I have to be build a, simply say in a technology terms, we used to say we should have a defense in depth model.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you rightly said, and, you have highlighted the challenges, the security challenges when it comes to cloud. And of course, this is a journey. So how much prepared we are, but still, there are chances of the attacks. What is your opinion about the ZTNA technology and zero trust and all? So according to you, what are you witnessing as the enterprise IT trend, and why is that this conversation of zero trust, after getting the multiple clouds, is becoming center stage now, especially in the last 2 years, and it's no longer a buzzword, I would say, right? So according to you, how important is ZTNA in the current scenario?
Correct. So when we talk on the security at the cloud at an edge level, so people started using the zero trust model. So there is no any trust-based network now. Earlier, in a decade before, we start trust and untrust. These are the two type of networks we talk. When we started extending our network into cloud level and hybrid model, multi-cloud, as I told, so the zero trust concept has come into the picture. So I don't want to focus on ZTNA part itself. What I can say is, what is the good foundation is required for, and when you are in edge network, when your workloads are completely at the edge level. So when you're moving your complete workloads, a banking sector like a core banking system is in the cloud, it's just a phenomenal. So because that is, it's a heart and soul of the bank's organization. Anywhere, if you've known that one, the CBS things and all. So like that, we have to think, lay the good groundwork, as I told earlier. So the cloud security comes up with, this is the next decade completely you're going to see a consolidation, because consolidation is going to play a major role into that one. So that even though if I am having a multi-cloud strategies, but my security should be same, but my security strategy should be same. So then only I can able to achieve what I wanted. I can bring the visibility part, I can bring the data protection part, I can bring the complete security and the compliance, and what are all the structures which is recommending by the regulatories and RBIs. So my first foundation is that cloud security should be a consolidated one. So that consolidation where I can able to achieve all the technologies, ZTNA is one of the key factors. Because why the ZTNA is going to play a thing? Because we already tested in our complete network is we can able to work remotely. So when we are working the entire organization, 80 to 70% of your employees are working remotely, then we don't want to end up only with a VPN or a remote kind of an security or an endpoint kind of a security will able to do it, which we thought of earlier. We are building a network which is as equal to and how we are controlling our on-prem networks. So we never restricted any of the users to access when they are in the networks. So similarly, in a ZTNA kind of a thing, we bring the complete end users access applications. So even though they over the internet, so they can still able to safely access the network, where the visibility part come into the picture, and the same the data protection is come into the picture, same that the complete endpoint will be secured what they are trying to access, it's completely getting monitored, and what are the things an end user is trying to do, it's everything is getting logged. The main part is, so all the logs, I don't want to see as everyone's coming up with a different kind of a solutions, but as a CXOs kind of a thing, we don't want to see multiple dashboards at the end of the day. So a single solution which able to predict me what is my complete bandwidth is happening, my corporate network bandwidth, what is, so that I want to see it at the end of the day. A single dashboard should come able to do it. And in ZTNA, there is a two kind of solutions are available. We can adapt it. Starting with everybody prefer to go with the agent, because I might be little lengthy on this topic. Everybody go with the agent. There is an agentless solution is also there. So it's a completely a strategical management decision, because at the end of the day, already even everyone carries their laptops and things. They will be running it. Already they are running it 3 to 4 agents, which is already is going to take a lot of feeds from the laptops. And this guy is also going to sit as a master of the everyone. And it's completely management decision. So what is the purpose of installing an agent or a non-agent? It's purely a call an organization should take, but start adapting it. That is one of the key factor we could say that. So ZTNA is just like that kind of an take as a vaccine. So to protect yourselves, to protect your endpoints. So that kind of a terminology we should start talking it, because security is very serious topics, right? Because we have seen it. So we should talk on the technology and the pandemics related to us very equally, balance each other. It's nothing like that left out. So we have to be talking at 30,000 feet where I want to build this, I want to adopt the solution, I have to have the frameworks. It's not like that. We have the ground level. What is the realistic? So what is the realistic requirement as an organization having it that relate to that and adapt the solutions? So then only we can able to optimally use the solutions. So any technologies, irrespective of ZTNA or anything you bring at the edge level, how optimum you are using, that is one of the key challenge. Maybe that itself we can talk a whole day. Yeah. So that is what I want to give a recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in context to that, what are the roles of users and devices and network in the overall security journey of the organization?
The first thing you have to take is the awareness. So without the awareness, if I'm trying to do something in the networks, the first guy is going to raise is the end user. So already I am stuck with that. I'm getting the slowness. I am not able to access anything. First, the user awareness is one of the key factors we have to do, irrespective of anything you are trying to do newly into your organization. And the second thing is where the learnings, what you have done it, the lesson learned from your previous assignments, previous rollouts, and previous projects. So these are the things you have to put it into the table when you are addressing a new technologies, you want to onboard it. So once you are addressing these two areas, then we have to bring the subject matter experts. So who are the subject matter experts who is going to be a frontline workers here? So we have to relate like an healthcare is the people who are the frontline workers. Here, the subject matter expert are the frontline workers who are going to be in front of the solution and planning to deploy it from the day one to take it to the BAU level, that operation level, so that an end user, I am a consumer. So I don't want to see what is happening, what is working behind my technology. So I will be doing my work on a BAU. But who's all the subject matter experts involved? They have to work on the strategy. They have to work on the plan. What is the roadmap they are going to deploy? It's not that any solution they can deploy it over the night. So there should be a proper plan into the place, and what is their timeline they are going to take into this one, and what are all the way they are going to deploy it. So a trial and error always should be a required one. It's not that I'm directly putting into a production. I have to have a UAT kind of a lab setup to identify, and mainly the last one, the use cases. So the use cases is the where if I'm using a ZTNA, my requirement will differ from your requirement. Organization wise, the use cases will differ. So first of all the use cases you have to draft. The use cases should address the problem statements. So today I don't have any requirements. Why I have to use this technology? So this kind of a question, how many people have started asking it? So people should know what I want is whether I am going to getting it or not. If I'm going to getting it in my existing solution, I'm fair enough. I continue in that way. But my business model pushing me to adapt a new solution where more, then I have to know the problem statement, the business requirements. So these are the areas we have to be talk at the very top level. Then we have to come down into a deployment stage. So there the rollout happens, because ZTNA kind of things, we talk about a big organization, an enterprise level organization, 30,000, 40,000 endpoints. So we have to roll out that logistically, if you see that one, so it takes at least 4 to 5, 6 months. So we have to plan accordingly. So that kind of a rollout plan and rollout strategy is very keen to be taken at the boardroom level discussion. Then a brainstorm level session will able to help us to achieve where we want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not like one size fit for all.
Exactly.
Every organization has a different requirement. Yeah. So, in the same context, like, can you please let us know where to begin in our journey to reach strong cloud security, and how to transform digitally, all while maintaining a zero trust security approach?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we can start with, say, any organization when they are planning to have adapting the cloud security model, because the business requirement, the client requirements are very on demand. So they want to be adapt with that solutions, in the sense, start with the assessment. Assessment is the first key factor. So you have to assess for as on date, what is your data? Where is your data? And how it is the data is going to use. So the database, we will use to say the three formulas: data in use, data in rest, and data in transit, or data in motion. So that where the data is going to be for you. So based on that, you have to start protect and start overlook all these things and a security angle. So starting an assessment is the better option to start with that, so that you will be able to prepare very well where I want to be placed my solution into this, rather than what is the recommendation coming blankly with a blind eye. I don't want to be do it. At the end of the day, still I will be missing some of the key areas. My critical application still will be in the not in the scope. So that way I will come to know at the end of the complete projects. So I don't want to be in that kind of a situation. Start with an assessment and understand your complete data, because all the solutions what we are talking on the data security. At the end of the day, what are the security we talks? The data is going to secure our data, and we have to, the second part, first is the data security. Second part is we have to bring the visibility. So what are the things we are using? And that what is more on the compliance and governance. So that is all the data securities. We have to be keep on taking into the logs and verifying what is the security threats, anything is there into that or not. So it's a complete data lifecycle model we have to bring into the security, so that we will able to address each and every phases of the things. So when I am planning a complete migration into that one, so I can able to easily achieve, and if there any bottlenecks arrives also, I could able to easily filter out where is the exact roadblock is happening. Or else at the end of the day, I will be doing all my works, all my things. One fine day, I will be fed up of the things which is not getting moved further. Then I will be throwing into the chunks into the projects. So that's the way the technology is adapting, is getting delayed when we doesn't have a good kind of an assessment.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was quite insightful. Okay, going back to our theme of this chart, like the acceleration of how organizations use edge computing may lead to new possibilities in cloud computing. How do you see edge computing complementing the cloud?
Yeah. So earlier we talk about the perimeters, networks, and perimeter data, everything where the organizations completely believe on that. So when we talk on edge computing in the cloud level, so we have the different type of cloud data access or the cloud model, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So all these things adoption where we will come into the play. What is my data is I'm going to be consume into that one? What is the data I'm going to be published into that one? So I have to build that different type of a perimeters for each kind of a service model, the cloud. If I am going to completely into a SaaS based cloud adoption, then I have to focus on more on my data exfiltration, because there is a lot of chances where my data is going to get theft, or because it's a morely a open source. Many of them are sanctioned URLs. When I'm talking to the sanctioned or unsanctioned, that's a completely different way. O365 everywhere we are using Dropbox, all these things and all application, SaaS based applications, where we will have the control in place, where we can have the security tools to monitor it. So I can secure that complete with my help of edge networks. But when I talk about IaaS or a PaaS kind of, that is an infrastructure as a service or a platform as a service, where I have to build my everything on my code, and then I have to be published it on my own. So what is the technology stack which I was referring in my on-prem? So I have to try to build a similar kind of a technology stack in, even though in a cloud. So then only my edge compute I can able to completely complement into that one. So I can able to secure my data, because as I told that even a cloud service provider, CSP, they give the off-net, my on-net. That is the where difference is. They give the basic layer foundation of all the securities and everything. They give only for the workloads, which is we are going data. But rest of the data, rest of the access policies, rest of the restrictions, everything, security, and what is my logs, all these things I have to protect. So for that, I have to build a complete networks stack into that one. So it's not like that what the complete on-prem model I have to be invested into that one. So cloud is we have the different type of licenses are there, so that we can use our BYOL license, where even though today I'm in the cloud A, tomorrow I'm going to the cloud B, still I can elasticate the same kind of a stack, still I can elasticate the same edge networking platform into the cloud B. So that kind of a flexibles are there, so that my completely lift and shift of the data is everything seamless. So in the edge computing, where we have to be think, the more keyword we try to use is lift and shift of the data. It should be a seamless, which I can able to achieve it when I have this kind of a setup in place. But when I have an on-prem kind of a where I have to move one server to the other location to think, it takes leaps and bounds.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings me to the next question. How is this collaboration benefiting organizations in driving their digital transformation initiatives?
Sorry, can you please repeat it?
I'm asking, how is this collaboration benefiting organizations in driving their digital transformation initiatives?
Exactly, because we have to be think on what is our business model, because our business model, everything is on, if you say it, we are completely on a technology oriented industry. So we are not completely a governance or compliance oriented industry like Western countries. So they adapt their complete business model related to some kind of a frameworks. Okay, but we are a completely technology driven industries. You have to be believe on our technology, what we are trying to run the business. So any kind of a business model, we require a technology. Without that, we are not able to completely promote into that business. So the digitalization is going to be an inbuilt for us now. It's not that a digitalization is something where it's like sitting in other planet, we have to get it and then go further into that one. It is with us only, because the digitalization is a word we are trying to use right now. But starting of the complete IT era itself, if you started earlier 90s, there itself the digitalization was there. So every time an industry is coming up with a new kind of a technology, the terminology is getting different. So we don't want to take it as a digitalization is a big thing, a big leap step I'm going to, giant step I'm going to do. It's not like that. So that what is my business model today, that technology is required. That technology is what it is. That is called a digitalization. Today, 9 out of 10 of all the business runs in a complete technology driven, right? So today, what we connect, how we meet each other, how we discussing, how the conversation, it's all a digital medium. so that we are already adapting the technology. We are a technology-driven industries, technology-driven country mostly.
Yeah. So digitalization started long back when we started
Exactly.
using
Exactly.
the Outlook with the help of the modem.
Exactly. So
Remember.
people don't want to haunt the word digitalization and say that keeping the other industries away from that. That should not be that. We shall join together, join the hands together and go further towards approaching the technology. And what is the benefit? Each of them going to get a different kind of benefits out of that and move further into the next era. So that is where we move forward into this one. So that is my kind of an explanation for digitalization, so that people can easily dilute that one rather than it's a big thing, I cannot swallow it. That kind of an terminology we don't want to put in front of everyone.
Yeah, so actually pandemic has put the digitalization on the fast track, though it was already there, it was existing, but it has put it on the fast
pandemic
track.
put the adaptability of the digital, any new kind of
the adoption
is the main factor. We are in the digitalization era quite some time, but the adoption model is very quick, very fast track, and the track and trace, what is all these things, we have started adapting it. So that kind of a pace was picked up irrespective of an industries.
Yeah, and the beauty is the pace that India picked it up is awesome.
Exactly. So that I can talk in a different topics also. How India was managed the pandemic, how the Western countries have managed the pandemic. It's entirely a different way, where it's not I spoken, it's the WHO is spoken about that. So that's the reason I used to say that we are a technology driven. For us, if any kind of, for us is just a breakout. If we have to be either, which is the vulnerable, we have to take it out from there. So that's kind of things we are into that. We are come up with a strong kind of restrictions made, strong kind of the pandemic we faced, a lockdown kind of a thing. But Western regions, they cannot dilute that. Lockdown is not their bread and butter. So they are started the things in a different way. For them is the vaccination is the only solution. But a country like India, its vaccination is part of the pandemic. We started, came over and addressed it in a different way. Those kind of lockdowns, those kind of things, stay away from the groups. These are the things and all our adaptability. Because this is all a technology driven mind for us.
Yeah. So hats off to you. The entire credit goes to the technology leaders and the technology providers who have been able to put things in place.
Correct.
So what are the top 3 challenges organizations face in building and managing edge architecture?
That's what. So when we talk on an edge architecture, so that is more an what to say. I use this word volatile because the architecture keeps changes. So it's not I am going to stick with a single architecture model where I was using it a long time, where I'm keeping all my servers data stores in my on premises itself. So this is more on a volatile architecture. It keeps changes, so that I have to be think what is my architecture solution which I'm doing at the edge level today when I'm completely my workloads, everything in cloud. So I have to be think on the aspects of the data is what I am planning to store or planning to build in an architecture model. This is going to be stay at least next to 3 to 5 years. No, not at all. This is the architecture model is going to work for this particular projects. This so that I have to come up with a different models. I have to be shrunk the architecture. I have to slice the architecture in a different way. As you told that there is a one size not going to fit for everyone. Similarly, the architecture is not going to be the same one which I am following it. So that the complete SDLC, the software defined lifecycle model, is going to completely change when I am having the complete workloads edge kind of a networks in the cloud. So that I have to be slice that one. Each of the architectures which I'm going to be designed and defined based on the cloud service providers and their requirements are what is they are building up. Because each of the cloud service providers having a different kind of structures. So that my data is at the end of the day going to store, going to access at the same way. But at the architecture wise, it is going to differ. So instead of I'm going to be directly going to the Mars, I have to go with take a different direction and reach to the Mars. But at the same time, what is the latencies? So architecture is more talks on the latency part, security part, and what is my data path. So what is the data how frequently I can able to take it up, how frequently I can move and shift. So my architecture is not going to remain the same what I am doing it on today. So the main aspect which I have tried to highlight here is I have to slice the architecture which I was want to be more protect. If I want to more secure, I want to be segregate that one. It's not to keep a one single platform, single architecture model or a flat architecture model, so that all the data comes it's in a one and the data process it and goes out. It's the flat star. Rather than that, I want to segregate it one. Then only I bring the big visibility.
The jewels
Because
of
cloud
the
edge
crown.
network is the visibility part.
Yeah. The jewels of the crown has to be first thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So, applications, when we talk about architecture, so applications are something, which forms the major, I would say, the entire posture. When we talk about architecture, application is something the most important part of it. So how are the organizations rethinking application architecture for edge?
Yeah. So today's the most of the applications are the organizations wants to keep it open. So it's not like that an applications I don't want to give the visibility. So the SaaS is a phenomenal. So SaaS, the SaaS platform, the application, the SaaS applications, where irrespective of your mobile or wherever we go, we can able to completely handle the complete data in the applications. So the SaaS model where which I was talking earlier. So the organizations can adapt the SaaS model and keep their application openly into the networks without compromising the security. So the architecture model which I was referring that, why we need to slice it, so that the based on the cloud requirement, so which cloud I am going to adapt, which service model I'm going to adapt, SaaS model, IaaS or a PaaS. So when I'm adapting a SaaS kind of a model, my application is open for everyone, but at the same time, I'm completely securing the application and bringing the visibility into the application, so that what are all the data because building a SaaS model is pretty much straightforward, pretty much business need can be achieved, and as well as what are all the application issues, as you asked. So we have to start adapting. Already people, the organization, banking system, everybody started adapting the DevOps model. So with the DevOps model, we have to bring the DevSecOps model, so that the security will travel across from the day one the code has started doing into that one. So that what is the SDLC we talk about? So now it's more on the DevSecOps. The DevSecOps model adoption will able to achieve the applications completely run through all the requirements and checks and without compromising the security. So that when I am onboarding that particular application, so I will be know which are all the key areas where the application is going to hit hardly, and how this application is going to perform, and how the backend of the database is going to seamlessly going to take the loads. So these are the complete run trial model of a DevSecOps. DevOps, everybody adapting it, but we have to be into the DevSecOps. So the security is into that one. We'll able to give a clear architecture model when we are in the edge level.
Yeah. So there's the latest news wherein RBI has given the guidelines that the exact name, with whatever name, for even using the UPI payments. WhatsApp, if it's through WhatsApp, it will ask for your legal name rather.
Correct. So that's what. So even if you see the RBI, they always recommend the technologies. RBI never refers, our Reserve Banks, our regulatory never refers, you have to adapt a particular frameworks. So, but at the end of the day, that framework should be referred, either ISO or NIST or whatever it is, a PCDASS. But they will build the most of the things on referring the controls. So we are more on, that's the reason I said we are more on a technology driven industries, so that we can adapt the technologies, and then we will slowly keep the compliance part, that is the framework part, also into the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are the organizations leveraging Kubernetes to set up and manage edge workloads?
That's what. So the overall, we have to be planned across what are all the things we want to do it at the edge level. So it's not like that an a CISO kind of a decision. So the decision opinions and matters. A CISO will think on the more on the governance, compliance, and security model. Yeah, an organization CTO will always think on my technology, my servers, my application load factor. My application should be available on all the 365 days. So they have to think very basic things. That is in a complete IT industry, we say that the three factors: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. All these three things should be matched together, so that which are all the networks, irrespective of edge networks or cloud networks or an on-prem or an hybrid model. So we can able to address all the requirements when I have all the confidentiality, integrity, and availability at the right place.
Yeah. So what are your suggestions for technology leaders to build and operate edge workloads seamlessly?
So first of all, we should have the complete operating model. So what is the current operating model? They should understand, the business leaders and the technology leaders should know their organization, what is the current operating model is running in their operations. And they should set up a target operating model, TOM. So from the current operating model to the target operating model, so what is the journey they want to make it? So they should have the clear platform should be made. So then we can bring the complete technologies, ZTNA and CASB, and what are all the CWPP. A lot of cloud-based compliance securities are in place, and we can bring many things into that, bring into the stack. So that what is my current operating model, what is my target operating model. So both, if you know that one, then we can kickstart the journey and go further into that one. And even though you have a laps and bounces, you know where your destiny is, so that we can still achieve it. But that time still the technology is an evolving always. So but still you can have the mature, you cannot achieve the mature state on a day one. So the journey will make you to take you into the where you are able to adapt and uh, handhold all the technologies. Whichever the business requirement comes, you can able to address it.
Yeah, so it was more like a takeaway of
Exactly.
the whole discussion. So thank you so much. That brings us to the end of this insightful conversation. And thank you for your time and joining us at CXO Cloud Summit. Lots of takeaway from you for our CXO audience.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.